It was a wild, controversial, and physical pair of games in Milwaukee as the Bucks and Celtics emerged dead even after 4 defensive battles. And in a series with Giannis Antetokoumpo, Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum, it was the godfather, Al Horford, at 35 years young, in his 15th season, who played the game of his life to help even the series. To understand how big Horford was, we need to put into perspective how suffocating Milwaukee's paint defense has been, led by Giannis and Twin Tower, Brook Lopez. In the first 3 games of the series, the Celtics posted a 92.6 offensive rating when Brook and Antetokoumpo were on the floor, shooting just 34% from inside 15 feet. Most of their makes at the rim came off transition or offensive rebounds, and in the half court, the Celtics have largely been reluctant to even shoot near Milwaukee's big men, making multiple kickouts on this possession instead of challenging them in the paint. Giannis has been a looming presence even without Lopez, mobile enough to slide over and vaporize shots like this, and the Bucks will leave shooters like Horford at the arc to prioritize the paint because even Giannis by himself can deter shots from being attempted at the rim, and it takes some beautiful ball movement here and a quick release just to find an opening. Giannis has done this while averaging 32 points and 8 assists per game, but the Celtics have had him in a straitjacket half the time, holding him to a frigid 48% true shooting, and the Bucks only have a 107 offensive rating with him on the court. Grant Williams put on a defensive clinic in Game 2 with his combination of quickness, strength, and discipline stifling a ton of Giannis attacks. Grant is like a brick wall down there, which made it difficult for Giannis to just bully ball him back into the basket. These wing isolations were a big part of his success in last year's finals, where he was too quick and too strong for Phoenix and DeAndre Ayton. But Williams is probably quicker and stronger than any of those Suns defenders, so Boston realized in Game 2 they didn't always have to double. Derek White stunts at the ball, but they mostly played Giannis straight up in the half court. Horford was the other primary defender on Giannis back in Boston, and he's still a long, formidable defender who knows tendencies and tricks well. But also notice how stationary the Milwaukee offense is on these isolations, which lets Boston set its defense, and without any double team, Giannis doesn't have any nice passing options. So one of the key adjustments for the Bucks in Game 3 was screening for Giannis inside the three-point line so he could penetrate right off the screen in a more dynamic action. This is especially tricky against smaller defenders like Peyton Pritchard, where they don't want to switch, which creates a moment of confusion for Giannis to attack. On the wing, they'd also try to force a switch so Giannis could attack a better matchup and use his power against a non-big. Jaylen Brown struggled containing him on the wing, so they went to this right away in Game 4, and Antetokoumpo earned more free throws with a classic face foul getting in the way of Giannis's clear-out. I don't know about you, but I hated it when guys fouled my elbow with their face. Anyway, Giannis continued to have better results in Game 4 with the Bucks adjustments, shedding Horford and going after Brown in isolation for the stuff. So the Celtics actually tried their starting point guard, Marcus Smart, on the much larger Antetokoumpo for a few possessions, where Smart's agility can shut off Giannis's normal driving lanes. With Daniel Tice in, Boston still wanted Smart involved in the foul line screen for Giannis, switching behind the play here, and then in isolation, Giannis can't easily drive around Marcus. The two-time MVP adjusted by turning his back to Smart in the third to use his strength advantage, which led to a double team and a great extra pass by Drew Holiday. But Smart's ability to guard Giannis in space was critical for what would come. For 3.5 games, Boston has tried to break into the paint against Lopez and Antetokoumpo, but one of them always seems to be there protecting the interior. So with Tice struggling late in the third and Rob Williams injured, Boston went smaller with Horford as the lone big, and Al's defensive versatility and acumen continued to shine. A minute later, Jaylen Brown picked up his 5th foul, and so the Celtics went even smaller with the 6'1" Peyton Pritchard joining the 6'3" Smart and 6'4" White for essentially a triple point guard lineup facing a 10-point deficit. This is a viable idea because the Bucks downsized as well, with Giannis taking a breather, and the giant Brook Lopez can't really attack the 6'9" Horford in the post. And with Giannis back in to start the 4th, the Celtics could go with Smart on Giannis and someone like Tatum on Holiday. This meant Boston wasn't compromised against Antetokoumpo, hiding Pritchard over in the corner, while Tatum or even Horford could switch onto Giannis when they set that foul line screen, and this time he settles for a low percentage jumper. Milwaukee's offense bogged down against this small lineup, resorting to a lot of isolation during this dry spell. Some of that might have been Giannis just running out of gas. He's resting in the corner here, and this turns into another trip where Horford can switch out onto Holiday, and it turns into another long jumper. Up until this point, Horford had actually had a solid offensive game too, popping out to the three-point line against that Milwaukee drop coverage. The Bucks had been willing to give up this shot to protect the paint, since Horford's only about a 36% shooter on wide open threes. But things started to change, and there might have been some cosmic shift in the space-time continuum in the 3rd quarter, when Giannis absolutely detonated on Horford in transition, and then gave him the mean mug, and Al responded like he took sides against his family with an okay, announcing that
he chose what?
Because after that, Horford changed the game. Giannis is starting to worry about his outside shooting and is pulled out of the lane here, leading to a rare Celtic layup. And then in the 4th, Al continued to shoot well by knocking down this foul line jumper. On the next trip, the Bucks looked for a Giannis against Tatum, and it was Horford who came over to help and bottle up yet another Milwaukee trip. And then a minute later, with Antetokoumpo closing out to another Horford 3, Al put it on the deck and enacted violent revenge, nearly decapitating Giannis before letting out a primordial scream bequeathed to him by the power of the Grail. Horford wasn't done, countering the Lopez drop by floating away for a little push shot here, and then after another stop, he sprinted to the line in transition and dropped in a triple to give Boston the lead with 8 minutes to play and cap a 20-7 run since switching to that small lineup. After that, the paint finally started to soften up a little, with Lopez reluctant to abandon Horford, so Smart has some clear airspace to finish, and with Al spacing out, Lopez was forced to choose whether to help or not, and he left John Wick open in the corner for another huge 3 to put Boston back in front. Remember, this small lineup only works because Smart can function as a big man on defense and have some success against a tired Giannis, and Horford's there to back him up too, and with Smart and Antetokoumpo pretzeled together behind the play, Drew Holiday decides to trap Tatum for some reason, which leads to a 3-on-2 and a Horford hook shot plus the foul to put the Celtics up 4. Giannis went back to the bench for a brief rest, and after this incredible pass from Holiday, the Celtics again put Horford in the corner and try to spring Tatum, and this time Lopez slides down but doesn't commit fully, so Tatum scoops it in. And suddenly, after 19 suffocating quarters, the paint was open for Boston, with Tatum backing down George Hill in isolation for a 3-point play. I'm not sure how that's a foul on Hill, but on the other end, Smart sagged off Giannis and waited for him in the paint, and this one was called a charge on Antetokoumpo. With Lopez subbed out so that the Bucks could match the smaller Celtics, Tatum had just enough breathing room to scoop in this shot while falling down, and Smart punctuated the run by powering his way into Holiday in an empty paint because, fittingly, Giannis was chasing Al Horford out to the 3-point line. All told, Boston ran off 43 points in the 4th quarter, in a series where the previous high quarter was 34, and their small lineup, led by Al Horford's playoff career high 30 points, outscored Milwaukee 46-26 down the stretch of Game 4 to even this playoff series up at 2 games apiece. For more content, head over to patreon.com/thinkingbasketball. There is a Game 1 breakdown from this series, a daily stats leaderboard that updates daily, and more. Thanks for watching this one all the way through. Hope you enjoyed it and that you are having a great day.